Manifest America 3019. Sinister rebels are attempting to divide our great nation. But the Manifest News Network is here to keep us in line. And now 2 former rebels have joined our team. I repented. I conformed. I will guide you to manifest glory, and you will follow.
Hello, America. It's me, that guy who used to be bad, and then I thought I was good, but I was still bad, but now I'm actually good, for real this time. Jack here with Let Freedom Screech. Caw-caw! They still have yet to give me the sound effect for that, but I like the homegrown charm that I bring to it. Real quick, before we actually get into the episode, I would like to reiterate there's been some rumors on social media that apparently I've had dalliances and have met certain women in the world. That is not true. So to whomever Jill or Tammy or Barbara or Jennifer are, I have no idea who you are. Please stop tweeting at me. Medicine, health, pharmaceuticals, insurance. All important topics in this wacky, crazy, perfect manifest world of ours. Some people don't know where to turn when their baby gets a little bit of a cough. Some people don't know what happens if they get that cancer all up in them. But we're gonna find out tonight just what exactly we should be doing in our lives. Joining me, of course, is our good business correspondent, UX 813121. UX, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Jack. But I'll be doing better when this country accepts that healthcare is a given right for every human, every animal, every clone.
Well said, well said. Well, joining us for our discussion tonight, as you know, we like to get the highest of the highs and the lowest of the lows. So joining us for our panel, we were able to get the newly appointed Surgeon General Bert Hunderson joining us, and on the flip side, a mom who has decided that she did a little bit of Googling and found some intriguing results, Mother Casey Johnson. Welcome, both of you, to Let Freedom Screech.
Hey, yeah, it's good to be here, and I do feel the need to let you know that it is the official Waffle House Surgeon General. They're an important sponsor, and it would not be okay to let that fall through the cracks.
Oh, of course.
Oh my God, I love Waffle House. That's so exciting.
Oh, they're great, and they're a fantastic sponsor of the healthcare system of our great country.
Yeah, that is a true point. Waffle House, true friend of the American people. Anything you ever want in life, covered and smothered, Waffle House is there for you. Sorry, that was an oversight on my part. Still getting used to the old Manifest News Network rigmarole, as you say.
Well, no worries, no worries.
Well, we have some important things to go over. I am, in some circles, considered illiterate, so I don't know many things about many things. So, healthcare, insurance, what's going on there?
Right. Well, so let me break it down for you. Right now, in this, as I'm sure you know, there's been a lot of movement lately to advance these so-called science-like. Yes, I said that with the finger quotes. You all can't hear me on the radio, so I'm letting you know.
I saw it happened.
Oh, thank you.
I corroborated.
So, science-like treatments, which, of course, in this world of freedom, if that's what you want to do with your healthcare, then that's what you can do, and we will cover that just as long as you have taken your advanced scorecard repository test to show that you have a sufficient knowledge of the appropriate crystal resonant frequency readjustments, that there are better, more trustworthy options that you fully understand, and that you don't have to rely on some hogwash that your great-great-great-great-grandfather 1,000 years ago rubbed some fungus on his lungs, and then his pneumonia went away just because he thought it had to do with rubbing fungus all over his face.
Yeah, that is interesting. Now, Casey, as a mother, what are your opinions on this whole, doing your own research, looking into the patterns, the crystals, the oils, all that. What's your take on this?
Well, I think it's very important because I learned everything about medicine online because it's all there. I mean, it's science. It's science light. It's diet science as well. I mean, it really is anything you want it to be, and that's the important part. Is that we shouldn't be force-fed facts. We should be able to figure it out ourselves. Because I will tell you that now I rub CBD oil on everything, and it has made a humongous difference in my attitude.
Oh, I can tell. When you came through the door, I caught that CBD.
Yes.
Going in.
Can't get that smell away, I know. It just permeates everything.
And Miss Johnson, I just want to thank you very much for your participation in our system.
Thank you.
Have you, by chance, were you this year one of the respondents in our healthcare survey?
I did it twice. I did it in 2 different locations just because I want to make sure I was counted.
Oh, that is fantastic. Jack, as I'm sure you know, this year was our every 10-year national survey of the efficacy of treatments for a variety of diseases and sicknesses. Now, what this means is that by everyone chipping in, contributing their knowledge, that is how we determine what is the best, most efficacious treatments available for any given disease. We hand out a couple of diseases to each respondent. Each respondent lets us know what is the best treatment available for that disease. We combine all of that, and then we put forth a great big document every year, well, not every year, every 10 years, saying what is the best. And that is how we have finally, after all this time, achieved true democracy in medicine.
Yeah, that's how I found out smoking does cause you to calm your nerves. It seems to work for so many other people.
Oh, wow. That's good to know because,
Absolutely.
I get the shakes from time to time. I remember the first time I did it, this was, 10 years ago, way back in the day. My little scorecard I filled out, I just drew a picture of a cat. And I feel like that was my civic duty. And I lived up to my best of that. Now, UX813121, this will actually be your first time ever filling out one of these.
Oh, and I have a lot to say, especially considering I'm a clone. Our biology is very different from that of the normal humans, and it's very often not taken into consideration.
Is that because you all don't have souls? Is that why? Because the souls all ran out? 'Cause you're just a copy?
I'm sorry, Karen?
It's Casey. I get that all the
is
time.
Casey.
I do want to speak to the manager.
You're being a real Karen right now.
That's so sweet.
It's a little bit of an iffy subject. There's been some back and forth. Sometimes it's a quarter of a soul. Sometimes it's there.
I'll just Google it. It'll tell me.
Right.
I'll
there
look it
you
up.
go.
To be fair, I have not researched it.
Well, and that's part of why we do this survey, is so that we can finally find out for once and for all, does he have a soul? And if we ask enough people, then obviously we'll find the right answer. Because if we have a majority of the people talking about whether or not this nice young man is actually a human, well, that's how you're going to find out the level of humanity that he possesses.
It's like Guess Who.
Oh, yeah.
You just slide them all down.
I'm not sure why a human thinks that they know whether a clone has a soul or not. Why don't we survey a bunch of Nicolas Cage clones and see what they have to say?
And
There's
we
only like
do.
an army.
That's why it's democracy, son. See, when you fill it out, you will have your chance. You'll include your voice. Your opinion will be right up there with everyone else's opinion. And that is how we find out what is the best single solution that applies to everyone across the board.
Exactly. And UX, there is a portion that you can fill out if there are any Nick Cage specific diseases that you believe could potentially exist. You can jot that down. That'll get thrown around. Now, there have been diseases that have come up in the past.
Like Ghost Rider syndrome.
That Ghost Rider syndrome.
It's where your head goes full on fire every time you're on a motorcycle.
That happens quite a bit with Nicolas Cage.
Oh, okay. So it's more prevalent then amongst the Cage population. There have been some diseases that have appeared in the past that, luckily, through democracy, we have decided don't exist. Now, isn't that right, Bert?
Oh, absolutely. Especially, a lot of things used to get just sort of made up and kept around, and everyone thought they had their second cousin once died of tuberculosis, and at some point, I mean, who knows? I don't know a single person anymore who has died of tuberculosis. You hear stories, but I think if hypothetically, if it ever was true, all those people are dead.
I was told after my first one drowned accidentally in a tiny baby pool that I had postpartum depression. But that's just craziness. I had that baby on purpose. Why would I leave it outside in a baby pool?
See, exactly. That's why we need to ask people what
Thank
they
you.
feel.
Thank you.
And I just want to go off on kind of a bit of a tangent. Because this
absolutely.
The democratization also, we've been talking about how the majority of the people can find the consensus answer that covers everyone. Well, one of the things we've been finding out from a lot of our polls, not the official 10-year, but the every year smaller poll, is that there's a lot of resentment that it seems like a very small minority are taking complete.
You're talking about them mutants?
Well, no.
Because, their limbs be falling off and things, and I just feel like that's just how it's going to be.
And the
Mutants
thing
be
is,
limbs falling.
Right?
and the mutants are always going to be right there on the front of every commercial for raising money. But no. This is a much more prevalent group, a special interest that is just taking over everything, and that is sick people.
Oh, my God. I never thought about that.
And it is just high time that we take away this notion that just sick people need health care. Everyone needs sick people, well people. Every human, every citizen should have health care, and we need to get them all the insurance that makes sure that they can get the health care that they need. It's just been a matter of finding someone to step up and provide 100% of citizens with the health care coverage that they need.
I appreciate you've had your hand over your heart this whole time, and it just makes me believe like you mean what you say, and you've really. I don't even need to Google what you said. I know it's true.
Oh, I'm passionate about making sure that everyone has the ability to get at least the minimum amount of courts from their local geographic strata so that they can realign their brainwaves to the natural environment that they're from.
Bert, it's funny you bring that up because I am on that same boat. I absolutely believe every individual deserves health care. And in that same vein, I can provide numerous people jobs, making sure that people are signed up for health care whether they want it or not.
Wow.
See, that is fantastic, son. I'd love to see more of your kind of spirit in action. If you don't mind, I'm going to be very happy to introduce you to some people who are trying to find ways to get more healthcare spending diverted away from the sick and to the people who are everyone who's not sick.
And that makes sense, Bert, because why would sick people know what healthcare is?
They're
They
not
haven't been
well.
healthy. They
don't
haven't
know.
been healthy. They don't know what it's
You know,
like.
there's a lot of fervor going on here. I would like to push back just a little bit. Now, for people who may have been keeping up with mine and UX813121's careers, which they shouldn't be because that's illegal, and if you have done that, you should turn yourself into manifest authorities. But you may remember that we did know an associate who will not be named on this show, who was perpetually ill and sick and near death and smelled of buckets the entire time.
Oh, tag?
Some could
You're
say
it.
that was a great smooth cover.
I don't want one to get in trouble.
Absolutely.
Sorry.
Sir.
We have a lot of fun here on Let Freedom Screech. Anyway, that individual was never given health care once, and I believe that they became a stronger individual for it. Now, I will say that the pushback, they are incredibly vocal. That individual spent all the time whining, complaining, being a wiener, and pushing back against everything in the world. I'm sorry for the terse language. He was a wiener. That is the practical.
That was
as
on
it stands.
that was on the last survey. That's what it means to be sick. You, aka a wiener.
Absolutely. You know, I'm sorry. We're getting so spirited in here. Unfortunately, those people that have bought that airtime are really calling for us. We're gonna have to throw to a commercial, but no worries. The free talk will keep right on rolling when we come back on Let Freedom Screech.
From the beginning, I knew my child was unique. Always able to express ideas creatively, excelling at school, standing out from the crowd. It's been a nightmare, and I don't know where to turn for help.
Well, hello there. That's why I created Anti-Vax.
Why are you in my house?
Anti-Vax is the only manifest-approved vaccine. With Anti-Vax, your child is safe from the only disease parents seem to care about: autism spectrum disorder.
Actually, I'm also very concerned about the...
Anti-Vax is recommended by 6 out of 5 doctors.
Is anti-vax safe?
Side effects of anti-vax include measles, polio, autism, scarlet fever, yellow fever, hay fever, cabin fever, depression, incontinence, bubonic plague, super autism, Spanish influenza, impotence, double vision, and autism. Anti-vax may not be suitable for everyone, but is required by law.
Thanks to anti-vax, my child has polio, just like all the other kids.
That's the power of Anti-Vax.
Anti-vax. Better dead than different.
All right, and we're back. Children, they're everywhere. Some would say that they are our most valuable resource because they're so young and so vulnerable and so small. But there's something else that's small and vulnerable, and it needs our help. That's right, we're going to be talking about diseases. Rejoining us is, of course, Surgeon General Burt, and we have a new guest coming in. This is a representative of a fantastic organization, Myrtle McGoo. Welcome to Let Freedom Screech.
I'm going to interrupt you just a minute,
yes.
Jack. We need to throw in that Waffle House.
Waffle
sponsor.
House presents Surgeon General Burt Hunderson.
I know how much it sucks to lose money, Jack, and these sponsorships.
Yep.
They're key.
Everything you want in life, covered and smothered. Waffle House Surgeon General. My apologies again.
Well, thank you very much for stepping up and making sure you got that covered.
Just trying to be an all-star. Myrtle McGoo, welcome to Let Freedom Screech.
Thank you for having me here. I haven't had a lot of time on a lot of other platforms, so speaking about our organization is very important to me, and I just want to thank you for having me here today.
Oh, of course. I always try and make sure that we get, the highest viewpoints and the lowest of the low. We can figure that out for ourselves at a later date, but we're so glad to have you on the show.
Thanks.
So diseases, Myrtle, what's going on?
Well, I don't know if you are all aware, but there is an epidemic of the loss of diseases. Yes, some of us remember our favorite childhood moments, being ill, staying home from school, catching a disease from a loved one, learning about the circle of life when another loved one dies. And our organization, Riddled with Discoveries, believes that it is our utmost importance to be stewards of these diseases, to make sure that they last through the next generation.
Wow, as a conservationist myself, I am moved by this. Now, Myrtle, I have to ask.
I don't have any diseases.
Oh, that's a shame.
I know.
That's a shame, Myrtle.
I just want you to know, because I knew you were going to ask.
Well,
Well, Myrtle, I just want to say from the official Waffle House Department of Health that we really appreciate all the fine work that you and yours are doing. We understand that it has to be a joint teamwork between all of the people of this country to make sure that we take care of people, but we do it in the most humane, loving, and considerate fashion so that the diseases we are removing from the people when appropriate, that we are relocating them to better populations more able to handle and supply the hosts and food and resources necessary for those diseases to propagate and live their lives to their fullest.
I agree wholeheartedly. Here, give me a handshake. You feel like syrup.
Well,
Is that
it's
syrup?
It
tastes great.
I'm
Now, Myrtle, you did your organization did send over a list of diseases that happen to be at risk. I chose not to read them, not for any other reason involving reading. Myrtle, what is most at risk in this country right now?
We are at risk of losing mesothelioma. We are also at risk of the common cold and the uncommon cold.
Now, you've seen many of your siblings die over the years, many times by your own hand. Were there any that happened to die because of any specific diseases? Are there any childhood memories you would care to share?
Jack, Yeah, I mean, if we want to get real here,
Absolutely.
There's a number of diseases that plague
wow.
Nicolas Cage's. Debt is one of them. Yeah. Yes,
Okay.
It's a big one.
Being poor is a very common cause of death.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's so many. Balding is a big one too. That's killed so many Nicolas Cages.
You
As
know,
you say,
I have killed a couple bald Nicolas Cages in my time. It's just my doing my part and
It's
following
not considered
the
a crime.
well,
God
and
bless you,
they're
sir.
unrecognizable as federal property without
Right.
hair.
Yeah.
It's more merciful to just let them be put down.
Sure. But I think that it's important, despite this, that we keep diseases on the table. Because without conserving these diseases, where would healthcare be? I wouldn't have a business anymore.
Now, UX, that's a good point. Debt, balding, cold, comma, common, comma, These are all very important, but unfortunately, in today's day and age, all these things are at risk. What are the major dangers to diseases in our current day?
Well, a lot of the weakest part of our population has already died off. So there's just no one who's carrying on the legacy of the disease. You know, hemophilia is famously a disease of royalty. And for some reason, they've decided to branch out, and we're just not finding it. So people's ignorance,
Yeah.
it's just going to become some sort of ways of the past. And then truly, where will med students be? Where will the students be when
That's
they're
right.
trying to learn if there's no diseases to research?
You know, and you mentioned students there. And if you don't mind, I'd like to take us on a bit of a tangent because one of the things that we're seeing a lot these days is a decline in students because there's a decline in young people because the young people that we have are not getting pregnant as fast and as willy-nilly as we need them to be. And it's the same with the diseases. The young people, they are not taking the risks that they need to take to enjoy their youth, and because of that, they are not spreading the diseases that we need them to be spreading.
Now, Waffle House Surgeon General, I do appreciate your plain candor. Unfortunately, you did bring up the idea of reproduction and the potentiality of a woman enjoying that experience. Myrtle, I do apologize. I'm going to ask you to...
I have my helmet.
Absolutely, if you can put on your
Soundproof.
Solitude helmet
It's fine.
for a second there. Yep. All right. Sorry, continue.
Sure, I do.
We can't have the women's minds.
Sign.
Why are you waving your hands at me?
So I
can't hear
appreciate
you.
your sacrifice, young lady, doing what you need to do.
I ate before I came. I'm good.
Anyhow,
You
so
might have to bleep that.
she'll be all right, I think. She looks like she knows what she's talking about. Anyhow, so what I really wanted to talk about, we have a new campaign coming out later this year,
Right.
for a sex education campaign to
Okay.
get parents across the country to talk to their children to say, look, kids, sex is just the best. It's awesome. It's so good. You're going to love it. You're not allowed to do it.
Oh.
Because if we let them do it, they're going to think it's old people stuff.
Oh, okay.
And I know when I was young, I didn't want to do anything that my parents were doing.
Oh, okay.
fair.
Reverse
So-
psychology. I
So
see.
you tell them
Okay.
about how good it is, you prohibit them from doing it, and then you ask them to watch the house while you go away for the weekend. And
Okay.
this really needs to be the modus operandi of parents all over the country, is get them hyped up, slip them a little bit of ecstasy on a Friday night.
Right.
You're talking about ecstasy? I saw you mouth the word ecstasy.
Oh, boy.
No,
Give me a thumbs up.
Myrtle, it is illegal for you to participate in
You
discussions
all look
about
concerned. I'll
reproductive
stop.
rights.
I'll stop.
Yeah.
Thank-
Look, I mean, it's...
give them some of the E,
Yeah.
and tell them to.
Did you just say E?
What's important is that young, nubile bodies are just going to be just smacking up against each other, and there's going to be an explosion of sensations and feelings, and then 9 months later, there might be consequences. We don't know. But that's an important thing. So absolutely, parents, make sure to do that. We're going to go ahead and signal Myrtle there. She can go ahead and take that helmet off. There you go.
Look, if we're partying after this, I just need you to know I have to pick up my kids.
Oh, all right. Fair enough. We might just, in fact, have us a bit of a van party.
Because I know the most fun way to spread disease.
Fantastic. And with that, we're going to have to call it for this episode of Let Freedom Screech. We would like to thank our guests, Waffle House Surgeon General Bert Hunderson, and, of course, Myrtle McGoo, and my longtime companda, this is consultant UX813121.
And please, stop by our PG&E website where we have a flash sale on health insurance. Come pick some up. It won't do you any good, but hey, at least you won't be thrown in jail for not having it.
And thank you for having me. And Myrtle, if you need a ride home, I'm going to a party afterwards.
That sounds fantastic.
Unfollow the Revolution was created and performed by David Gossett, Benjamin Mitchell, and David Nair. Produced by Rock Punch. Edited by Molly Rowland. Intro music by Alan Hanks. Voiceover by Jenny Wentling. We would like to thank our special guest this episode,
Liz Grofick.
John Maynard.
If you want to keep raging against the manifest, support the American Civil Liberties Union at aclu.org, because the best way to destroy tyranny in the future is to fight it in the present.